The melee continues. Today,
I'm
I
Ronnie
am...
because you didn't let me introduce myself last time, so
Okay, introduce yourself.
I'm Ronnie.
I'm CJ. And
There you go. Is
today,
that so hard? See, little little little. What's the
you
word
are
I'm looking
so full
for?
of yourself.
Yeah.
But you see,
I,
today I'm going to do something that many of the people who know us think is impossible. I am going to attempt to get Ronnie to change his mind about something. I have my work cut out for me, but I think I may be able to do this. I am going to try to convince you to watch any or all of the following really long movies, or RLMs as I like to call them. I would define a really long movie as any movie that is 4 hours or longer. Yes, it's a big
okay.
slog, can be a big slog, but then again, there are people who will get up on a Saturday morning and binge an entire season of a television show. So if you can binge an entire season
And
of a
this is what
television
you do
show,
at your Saturday morning, is it? Like,
well, I haven't got much going on.
so you got like 4 hours to watch. What's the first one you're going to introduce me to?
I'll get to that, but I just want to make that point that if you're willing to binge an entire Netflix show in one day, you can sit and watch like a 4 to 5 hour film. Like what's really special for really long movies for me is it gives you an opportunity to get totally absorbed in the world of a film, and by the end you feel like you practically live in that world, and that to me is what
Because you're
is...
asleep and dreaming about the movie.
Yeah. That's what makes the experience special to me. Is it allows you to get totally absorbed in the world of a film, and in a way that a TV series doesn't
So
really allow. In that a TV series
so
you can take breaks, whereas a really long movie, it's designed to be watched all at once.
so can I guess? Is the final cut of Alexander up on this list?
Funnily enough, no, because that isn't 4 hours long. It's just shy of four. I think it might be different with like PAL Speed Up and whatnot, but I think the Alexander Revisited, the final cut, is something like 10 minutes shy of 4 hours rather than being the full 4 hours.
Oh, so you made a little criteria that it was a 4 hour flat minimum on this one.
A 4 hour flat minimum, but so every one of the
That's
films
that's
that I'm...
just that's wonderful. That's
Yes,
wonderful.
every one of these films that I'm going to try and convince you to watch is 4 hours or longer, and I'm going to... The first one I'm going to try and get you to watch, and I guess by extension get anyone listening to this to watch, is A Brighter Summer's Day, directed by Edward Yang, and exactly 4 hours long. This is...
Okay.
Okay, the premise is it's the 1950s in Taiwan. An entire generation of Chinese mainlanders have fled to Taiwan to escape the communist regime. Taiwan is now ruled by the nationalists, and what plays out is a microcosm of Taiwan itself and its influx of Han Chinese immigrants from the mainland, trying to build a new nation for itself and become a new people in a strange land, told through the eyes of the first generation of Han Chinese Taiwanese to grow up in this new Taiwan. What plays out is a romance that's kind of like Rebel Without a Cause, where you have these two different... It's kind of part, I guess you could say, West Side Story, part Rebel Without a Cause, where these two teenagers try to find love together amidst the macroscopic political situation of this highly militaristic society constantly preparing for war with Maoist China, and the microcosm of these two teenage gangs constantly fighting with each other over nothing, with the strong implication
Well, at
being
least
that...
they know what the movie's about.
At least, yeah, yeah. Okay, so have I convinced you? Do you think this is worth watching?
No.
Okay, how about this?
Okay.
It is a very, admittedly very art housey. Like, it's one of those films where there's no music at all in the film that isn't diegetic. So there's music in it if there's a
Oh,
radio on.
that sounds great.
Do I detect a hint of sarcasm?
No, not at all.
You know I can't interpret sarcasm.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not using it right now.
Okay, so there's no non-diegetic music. It admittedly seems a little dour, but you truly feel like you've lived a lifetime with these characters by the end. It ends...
So miserable and short by extension compared to everyone else's.
No comment. Well, that would be a spoiler. That would be a spoiler. I don't want to spoil this for... I've
You
given
see,
you
like,
these...
you're saying it like no spoilers, but here's the thing. I can pretty much guess everything that happens in this movie. They almost make it, then they don't, and it's a commentary on how hard it is to make it as a poor person.
Not quite. They're not
Not
poor.
quite, but in the ballpark.
Okay, look.
If you
Okay,
haven't
look. It
seen
looks
it.
like I could say more, but it looks like I'm not going to convince you of this. So
Oh,
let's...
okay, all right. No. It sounds like a wonderful movie.
It is a wonderful film, and it sounds like I have lost you on this, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. Okay,
All right.
clocking in at 10 minutes shy of 5 hours, we have Until the End of the World,
These only
directed
get
by Wim
longer, don't they?
Wenders, 1991.
Repeat that title. I interrupted you.
Yeah, it is Until the End of
These
the
keep
World.
getting longer, don't they? Like,
You interrupted
sorry, I
me.
interrupted you there.
Are
I
you
can't
doing
believe
this on
that. Sorry.
purpose?
Go on. No. Go on. Sorry.
Okay, so our next suggestion, clocking...
These just keep getting longer, though, don't they?
Fuck you! Okay, you've tagged the joke 3 times. You need to actually let me finish.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so clocking in at 10 minutes shy. I keep... You see, now
I knew you'd stop, and that's why I laughed.
Okay, fine. Let's just get on with it. Okay, at 10 minutes shy
tell
of... You've run it into the ground now.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, radio. Until I say now, I want radio silence from your end. Okay. All right.
All right. Complete radio.
Okay. Next film is
radio silence.
You just want to render this footage useless, don't you?
Absolutely not. I'm desperate to hear your recommendations for these, like, unnaturally long films.
Okay, so look, being serious now, Wim Wenders in the early 90s decided to make what he considered the ultimate road movie, after having made a bunch of road films previously, like Kings of the Road, Paris, Texas, with Harry Dean Stanton. He's a German director, but for this film, it's made in several different languages. It was filmed all over the world. Stars Sam Neill, Max von Sydow, and I think he filmed on every continent except South America. Like, there's scenes taking place in Europe, taking place in Asia, taking place in Australia, which the entire second half of the film is set in. It was originally released in the early 90s as a 2.5-hour film, which was badly truncated. Some people liked it.
God forbid.
Some people liked it. Most people thought it was kind of mediocre, not his best, but eventually it was released in its full, nearly 5-hour cut, which is the version I saw, and it's set in a 1999, but from the perspective of 1991, so slightly the future, but like an alternative future. So kind of like how 2001 has already passed, so it's now... instead of being future fiction, it's now alternative past fiction. That's kind of the same for this. So it's some of the technology they have is like what they imagined the late 90s would look like from the perspective of the early 90s, which...
Or they just didn't have the budget to like make things period appropriate, so they just made everything anachronistic.
No, because they actually had quite a big budget. In fact, that was one of the problems, I guess you could say, with the film is...
Who funded this movie by any chance?
I don't know. I will figure that out later. But our premise is a...
Boring count, I bet.
Yes.
And
our premise is a young woman travels across the world chasing a guy who is trying to capture images with his mind on a new piece of technology that will allow people who are blind to see images.
Oh, so it's like a William Burroughs novel minus like Yakuza.
No, it's nothing like William Burroughs. I don't know where you got William Burroughs from.
The technology thing. Oh, not William Burroughs, William Gibson.
Maybe a little bit, but it's much more whimsical than that, although it becomes...
So like William Burroughs, then?
A little bit. Like, technology-wise, yes, but it's not really cyberpunk. It's more...
I just said William Burroughs and you agreed with me.
Oh, you're not taking this seriously at all, are you?
Of course I am.
Okay, but I know I haven't explained it very well at this point, but it is a meditation on the nature of First, love, and second, nostalgia. The tyranny of images and how images can be used to both unite people and turn them into self-absorbed, narcissistic hermits.
Like a director who would like take his crew around the world to like film a 5-hour movie with no plot.
No, but look, I think this film.
What if you found out? What if you found out all of these like shots were actually just in his back garden? Like he just.
Yeah, because he's that loaded.
Yeah, no, imagine like he just had like a Schenectady, New York kind of like set in his back garden.
Sure, but look, I think this film has aged very well in that it prophesized very accurately 20 to 30 years before the fact what I think has become true to a large extent with social media. People have retreated into nostalgia and have retreated into just looking at themselves throughout the course of their lives
and watching way too long videos on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, so I can tell from your tone I haven't sold you on this one either.
You gotta ask me, that's the rule, you gotta ask.
Okay, have I?
Have you what?
Have I sold you?
On what?
On watching this movie. Are you going to watch this movie?
You know what? I actually have thought about what you just said, and I probably won't, no.
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, next movie. Look, next movie is not the original cut, but specifically the director's cut of Nymphomaniac, directed by Lars von Trier, at 5.5 hours.
No.
Why not?
Actually,
okay, this is the one movie I think out of the whole list you've actually heard of, so you're familiar with what it is, so I guess we can skip me explaining it to you, and I just want you to tell me why you were not already sold on this.
I'm not the biggest Lars von Trier fan. I liked Antichrist and I liked Europa, and that's about it.
Really? Because those are two of his films I actually hate.
Really? Because I bet you love Dogville. Is Dogville your thing?
I'm kind of mixed on Dogville. I love Breaking the Waves. I love Dancer in the Dark, and I love this.
These are movies you watch before you kill yourself, by the way.
That's a common, to be fair, I guess that's a common criticism of Lars von Trier, is he makes the kind of films...
He's Danish, and therefore these are the kind of movies he'll make.
Yeah, maybe. But
Can we edit that out?
No. Nope. You said it.
Please edit that
in there.
Please edit. I don't want like my
okay,
Danish
but
racism.
Our I just noticed I say "our" sometimes instead of "our." Like
you're Irish. You're pirating it.
Please, let's not buy into the stereotype. Like, so many Americans already think we sound like pirates.
Americans think Irish people sound like pirates?
Yeah, I saw this one Fox News story that a woman said she went to Ireland and then the crew asked, "Oh, is it true they really say 'shiver me timbers'?"
Do you know what's like really funny there? When you said Ireland, you did kind of sound like a pirate.
Fuck.
You just went Ireland.
Ireland. It's that hard R. The Americans have it, the Swedes have it, and we have it. Yeah, but so it is a 5.5 hour meditation. I use the word meditation so much. Exploration, let's say, of human sexuality and the place of women in society, both from the perspective of feminist, anti-feminist, and I guess you could say meta-feminist perspectives, about even when you look at it from the perspective of women's and sexual liberation, it's still kind of critical even of that view, even though it's more critical of the opposite view. So I guess it takes the form of this conversation between two characters, one played by Charlotte Gainsbourg, who's recounting her sexual history, and the other played by Stellan Skarsgård, who it's one character who's hypersexual and one character who's asexual, trying to understand each other's points of view as one tells their life story to the other, which I found absolutely... The ending is controversial because it can feel to some people like a gigantic middle finger to the audience, like a giant punchline to a 5.5 hour joke at the expense of the audience, but to me that makes it... I think it can be interpreted many different ways, but I would like you to see the film so you could make up your own mind.
You essentially want me to spend like nearly 5 hours just to be told go fuck
more
myself.
More than 5 hours. 5.5 hours.
5.5. Okay, all right. This is a no for me, and it's been a no for a few years now. I think you know.
Okay.
I feel like this whole thing has been like you like hardballed me with those ones just to like then go, oh, and then here's Nymphomaniac. Maybe you'll be interested in this if you didn't like them.
It's all been a gigantic setup to try to get you to look at Stellan Skarsgård's balls. That's what it's all been about.
You know
This whole
what? I
time.
already got a good sight of them in Dogville, so
I think that's been Lars
I'm
von
good.
Trier's
I'm
long.
set. I'm set
Well,
for that mental image. Thank you.
yeah, I think that's been Lars von Trier's long game as well. Like, he doesn't
Yeah,
care about cinema. He doesn't care about, like, the integrity of, like, Dogma 95. None of that shit. It's
there's
all
only
about
one.
Stellan Skarsgård's balls.
And in a world obsessed with Skarsgård, it's interesting that Stellar is the one that or Stellan is the one he would go for.
Yeah, it's. I think
Sorry, I
that's
said
been part of
Stellar
what,
there because a few years
he
ago
is
someone
stellar. Like,
changed
the
his name on
balls are
Wikipedia.
stellar.
No. Someone changed his name on Wikipedia to Stellar Skateboard, and so now that's his name forever.
Indeed. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Jason Mantzoukas
there,
apparently is
all of the
responsible
other
for that.
Skarsgårds, like his beautiful, beautiful sons, I'm sure there are people the world over want to see their balls, but no, it's the father's balls, you see. But okay, I'm just gonna, you know what, I give up with this one. I've been trying for years, and I'm not gonna win. So instead, I'm just gonna
I feel
move
like
on.
you tried there, and then you just start talking about Skarsgård balls.
Probably, I guess they made such a
I
stellar
feel-
impression on me that.
Do you even like this movie,
I
or is
do
it
like
just
this movie. Yeah, it's hard going, but I feel it's
so? It's
fascinating.
not just
It
the
is
Skarsgård.
intellectually fascinating, as well as it's full of sex, but none of the sex is arousing, which I think is. But to some, that's the opposite of a selling point. But to me, it tells you that this is not a film about the somatic. It is a film about the psychical aspects of human sexuality and human connectedness.
Plus balls.
Plus balls. Anyway, so I'm just going to move on to the fourth and final film. And this one may in fact be my favorite film ever made. 9 hours and 35 minutes long. It is called...
God damn you.
It is in black and white from the 1950s and in Japanese.
Okay. You got me with those points. Don't waste it.
Directed by the great Masaki Kobayashi, the director of Kwaidan, which is a classic of Japanese horror cinema. It is a anti-war tragedy about a young college graduate called Kaji. He enlists to be the labor director at a prisoner of war camp in Japanese-occupied Manchuria towards the end of World War II as a way of getting out of military service, because he's keeping a tight lid on this because he doesn't want anyone to find out, but he is against the war. He is politically a leftist, sympathetic towards pacifism, and he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. He abhors...
Is there a scene where he listens to American rock and roll?
No. That wasn't a thing yet. This is 40s,
in 9 hours,
50.
That feels like a goddamn missed opportunity.
How could it be? It didn't exist yet. This is mid-1940s, not mid-1950s.
Maybe he discovers it.
Why would he discover something that doesn't exist?
Maybe he was the inventor.
Where are you coming up with this shit?
I don't know. In 9 hours, I'm expecting some kind of entertainment.
Okay, let's put it this way. We start Full Metal Jacket. We start like Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, because it's set in a Japanese POW camp. Part 2 is like the middle part of the film is like Full Metal Jacket, and then the last part of the film is like Apocalypse Now. It's first part prisoner of war camp, second part is set in a military training ground, and third part is him and a group of soldiers trying to make it out of Japanese-occupied Manchuria and having a kind of trippy, psychedelic survival journey along the way.
And like Apocalypse Now Redux, it seems way too long.
It's not way... You can... this one, unlike all the other examples, you can kind of watch this in installments. It's actually, if you think...
So even the movie wants you to take a break from it.
Okay, kind of, in that you can watch it either as one movie, as I did over the course of an entire Sunday. You can watch it as 6 movies, because it's divided into 6 parts, or you can watch it as 3 movies, because it was released 2 parts at a time. So it's kind of like The Lord of the Rings. It's either 1, 3, or 6, depending on how you ingest it.
So it depends, how much of your day you want to waste, or how many days you want to waste.
Why are you framing it as wasting your day rather than enjoying a phenomenal piece of filmmaking that will practically change your life if you watch it, and it'll make you think broader about the nature of war and what it's like to try to...
Does the movie say war is bad?
Basically, but yeah, in some.
Okay. Oh, well, that's very different to every other war movie I've seen. Maybe I will check it out.
Okay, but it's not just saying war is bad. It's about what it's like to be a person who knows war is bad, but caught in the middle of
Difficult.
a.
I'm betting. I'm betting. Is it difficult? Are you cold sometimes and then like really hungry other times?
Yes, in fact, that's how the film ends.
For 9 hours, really? Wow.
Nine
I'm
and a
sure it
half
says
hours, nearly
nine
10.
and a half hours. I'm sure it says many different things to every other war movie ever made, apart from that Mel Gibson movie, One's for Soldiers. That seems to like endorse war.
You know what? I joked that I was a Philistine in the last episode, but I really think you are a Philistine, Ronnie. You just
You think I've gone too far with this one, huh?
you insult my favorite film ever made. Won't even give it a chance, and yeah, you just. Nah, I'm so disappointed in you.
Would you say that like this is a victory for me on the melee, or is it just a case of you've just dropped your sword in the sand and you're walking away?
Japanese style, I am harakiri right now. I give up.
What is the statement? What are you trying to tell me with this protest suicide?
You win the melee for now, but I will be back, motherfucker. I will be back, and I will win the war. War is bad. That's the message of my favorite film, The Human Condition, but this metaphoric war, I will non-violently triumph.
I feel like I'm like being challenged by like a wrestling promotion right now.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see
Okay,
who's champion coming
let's
Monday Night Raw.
yeah, let's just stop this travesty right now. It's gone too far.